Hi, Rob and Rachel here from Playing the Long Game. So we had a question about calf muscles, calves tightening up. How can you develop your calf flexibility? Lots of things to say about this. To develop flexibility in any muscles, you've got to be holding stretches for long periods of time, for 2 minutes minimum really, to develop flexibility. Saying that, you should also always be doing restorative type stretches after workouts where you've been using the calves to get them back to their resting length. So stretching for about 20 to 30 seconds of your calf muscles is really important at the end of the workout to bring the muscles back to their resting length. That's maintenance stretching. To develop flexibility, you need to be holding for 2 minutes plus. Also, the other little thing to say about calves, stretching is great, yes, but sometimes if you've got little trigger spots or sort of knots and things in your muscles and your calves, then you might need to break them down, perhaps with some mashing and rolling. Let's talk about that first. Rachel's using a kettlebell. You might use a foam roller if you've got one handy. To warm up initially, you might just run from the back of your heel all the way down. Really be careful not to go behind the knee. So stop before you get behind the kneecap itself. So maybe roll up and down 10 times. Then start at the bottom with a little bit of weight. You can add, if you need more weight, you can add a foot. You're just going to roll side to side, and you're going to feel a kind of bloop bloop as the muscles kind of roll over on each other. Do a few rolls, then move up the calf, an inch or so, and see what that feels like, and gradually work your way all the way up through the muscles. And that'll give you a good idea of the knottiness of your muscles. If you've got any really nasty trigger points, those knots, then you can find it by laying on top of it, relax the muscle, and go heavy with the leg, and add a little bit of weight, and then sit there and do some kind of 4-8 breathing, in through your nose for 4, out through your mouth for 8, and relax. And gradually you might find that the pain just starts to dissipate, and that's starting to help to break down those trigger spots. So that's a really good way if you've got any really gnarly bits. There's lots of other things you can do with the foam rollers there and stuff, but that's a good starting point. Now stretching, doing long developmental stretches, one really good way to find a step or a box that you can stand up on. If you go on here, and you can do 2 feet together or one at a time, and you're dropping the heel down. Now with a straight leg here, we're stretching one of our 2 calf muscles. We've got the gastrocnemius, which goes from the heel and attaches above the knee. So you need a straight leg to stretch that, and you'll feel that kind of in through the belly of the muscle in through here. Like I said, 2 minutes in there. Hold it for a long period of time. Now if you do this with a slightly bent knee, you're going to feel the stretch come down lower, and this comes into your soleus, which attaches down here again, but it's up here is the other end of it, okay, as opposed to above the knee. So you need to do this with the bent leg, and you get a couple of minutes there. So that's a good way to do it. Hang off at steps while you're watching EastEnders or something like that. Another thing you can do, and I really, really like this one, you get your heel really close. I'm going to move this to stop this moving, but if this, you use a wall and not a box, as it's going to move. You get your heel in as close as you can, and then you bring your hips up towards it, and you're getting that stretch in there. And the thing I like about this is that you can hold for a period of time this way, then keeping the stretch on. If you push your hip out to the side, you can start to get a slightly different angle on the stretch. And then if you come up and then stick your arse the other way, you hit another angle.
Yeah, that works well.
Okay, so those are a couple of really good calf stretches in there. There's the classic one also, where you're pushing, back against the wall. That also works. But remember, experiment with a straight leg, experiment with a slightly bent leg, and you'll feel the difference. And you get a feel for which is tightest for you. The other thing that's worth saying is that before workouts, it's really important to warm your calves up if they're tight. And a really great way of doing this would be to go into perhaps a downward dog type of position, and start to pedal your calves. So one after the other. It's a really good way to dynamically warm up your calves a little here. That's another thing you can do at the beginning of a workout. There are a whole host of other stretches, but essentially at the end of the day, you need to get that foot flexing with a straight leg or a bent leg to stretch those two different muscles. If you've got any really gnarly bits, which I'm sure most of you will, find something to roll on. Foam rollers are great. You can pick those up for about a tenner from TK Maxx.
That's a good one.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, I think you still can.
I presume you still can, yeah. They're normally
Anyway, any other
everywhere.
questions, give us a shout. All right,
Bye.
see ya.